Hello everyone! Bun? No humans allowed, just buns. Hello everyone. I've been having a ton of fun filming Restore Me videos lately. Y'all have been enjoying them. Recently on Twitter, I posted a thread of polls because I was just jokingly / playfully doing this thread of like, what do we think will happen in Restore Me? And it ended up being a really fun ordeal, and people responded to it saying, I hope that you do a video about this and analyze these results. So that's kind of what I'm gonna do today, is I'm gonna go through and read some questions I posted on Twitter, tell you what the answers were, tell you what my Twitter followers think is gonna happen in Restore Me. I would argue that Twitter is like the main hub of the Shatter Me fan base. This should be a pretty accurate count of people thinking things. A couple of these questions are silly questions, so keep that in mind. Also, Chahada follows me on Twitter, so there's a part of me that's like, what if she voted in these and her answers are in there somewhere? We'll never know. But yeah, let's just get into it, because I have to go to work in 45 minutes. The first question is the most hotly debated topic in the Shatter Me fandom right now, which is, was Warner a virgin? 73% said no. This really doesn't shock me whatsoever because everyone argues like, oh my god, he can't be that good at everything and not have had practice. I don't know, I'm still in the minority. I'm just, there's something inside of me that romanticizes firsts, and I know it's not feminist, but still I can't help myself. That's one of the ones that I was in the minority. My next question is probably my number one over Warner being a virgin. My number one question for the series is, when Juliet meets her parents again, are they going to be nice or are they going to be hateful and mean? The reason why I posted this poll thread is because this is really what I want to know, and 465 people voted and 68% said they're gonna be mean. But that's really interesting. I was really torn between whether I would want to see her parents be like, oh my god, we're sorry, please come home, like blah blah blah, Gary, come home. Or if they'll realize like she's a monster, she can't lead the country, she's done this and this and this. So it was really interesting to see. My next question I think might have been a weird question or been weirdly interpreted, but I wanted to know, since Warner gets Anderson's journals, Delalu mentions how he could go through all of Anderson's stuff before Juliet gets access to them. I was wondering, is Anderson's journals in his files going to be a Warner thing and only he sees it and he hides it from Juliet? Or does Juliet read them? And for me, I feel like Juliet would be respectful and say, if you don't want me to read these, I won't read them. Or he'll hide it from her, I don't know. So I was thinking like, oh, like Juliet might not read his journals. But out of 450 votes, 85% of people said that she would. My next question is about the relationship between Adam and Warner. I said, are they gonna get closer? This is kind of a tongue-in-cheek question because like obviously with their connection to each other, like yeah, they're gonna talk to each other. But I want to know, like, is there gonna be a camaraderie between them? I want to know if we're gonna get scenes where like they're actually friends. 469 people voted and 71% said yeah, they'll be friends or they'll get closer, which I think is fair even if the question is a little vague. My next question has to do with the fact that we were given the very contextless spoiler of there will be an ex-girlfriend in the book. So I asked, whose ex-girlfriend is it? 51% said Warner. This was expected. I mentioned this in my theories video. I'm just really not looking forward to it. I hope it's not Warner's, but also we could totally be overthinking it and it's just some random side character ex-girlfriend, so we shall see. My next question is one that I've been avoiding thinking about. I wanted to know which character is in the most danger of getting gravely hurt in this book. Not book 6, not in the grand scheme of this series, in this book, who's going down? I'll mention this later on too, there's a question about that, but I'm in the boat where I don't think a main character or a big character is going to be close to death anytime soon. I mean, they've all pretty much almost died so far in the series, but 33% of people said that Kenji is in the most danger. Warner's 30%, so he's a little bit behind. Juliet 19, James 18, so I don't know, I'm kind of leaning toward Juliet. I feel like because Tata has said so often her perspective is a spoiler, I think something happens with her. We shall see. That's just gonna be this whole video is me saying, we shall see. My next question has to do with Warner, as most of them will. And I said, will Warner begin loving himself in this book? Because he's just so sad. And I want to know if his recovery is gonna last a couple books or if there will be a turnaround in this book. 55% said no, not in this book. So that one's a little bit in the middle. I'm not sure where I'm leaning on that. Jury's still out. The next question's also sort of a fun one. I said, who does Kenji love more? Obviously, we all agreed on himself, because what a self-confident man's. This next question is also one of the most hotly talked about, debated, theorized things, which is, what did Warner have to do to become leader of Sector 45? The thing about this question is I do not know what those things would be, and if I did have any idea, they would not be able to fit on the tiny little line. So I just said, I don't know, I don't know, I don't know, and I want people to tell me their theories. Current theories are like he had an ex-girlfriend that Anderson made him kill, or he and the Power Wave guy from Ignite Me were competing for it, or he had to, it's something about Warner killing people or Anderson killing someone that matters to Warner. I did a thread about Hogwarts houses, so I asked, what Hogwarts house is Juliet? 45% of people said Gryffindor, which is what I agree with, so I'm very happy with that. Followed by Slytherin, then Hufflepuff, then Ravenclaw. But I say Gryffindor just because she's so, like, get stuff done, brave. I don't know a lot about Hogwarts houses, but I do know that she sounds like she would be a Gryffindor. Next we did Warner. He's a Slytherin, which I also agree with, so I'm happy with that. It was 65% Slytherin, 18% Ravenclaw, and then 10% Gryffindor, 7% Hufflepuff. Can you imagine Warner and Hufflepuff? He would drop out. Yeah, I agree that he's a Slytherin. He is very chaotic neutral. Okay, next we did Kenji. In this we got 50% Hufflepuff, 29% Gryffindor, 14% Ravenclaw, 7% Slytherin. Can I just say, Kenji is totally a Gryffindor? Did y'all read Unravel Me? Kenji to me is literally like one of the Weasley twins, so like he's such a Gryffindor. I don't want to fight about it, but fight me about it. And then as a little joke I said, which house is Adam? And 95% people said he's a Muggle, so. Also people were offended that I put Slytherin as the only other option, but like. The next question is sort of a given. It was just plain old, is Brendon and Winston going to be a thing? 84% said, of course. Tada has teased us so much about this pairing. I'm sure they're going to be together. If anything, one of them's just going to die before we can actually get it to become canon, so. Next I did another one that's kind of an obvious one. Not obvious, but it's very heavily agreed on in the fandom, which is, what is Kenji's sexuality? 84% said bisexual, what we all agree on. 8% said straight, 4% said gay, and 4% said other. Pansexual Kenji? We'll see. This next question I have was driven by my fear of new characters. Of course I'm excited for new female friendships and all the different diverse characters that are coming into the book, but at the same time Warner has expressed such fear about meeting them again that I was like, I don't know if I'm supposed to like them or not. So I asked, are the new characters gonna be friend or foe? And 92% of people said some of them were friends, some of them were foe, which I get. That's the only proper response there. I'm very interested to find out why Warner is so skeptical, who are gonna end up being the good guys, what's the dynamic there. I am confusion. This next question's pure speculation. I've had people that are adamantly against this. I've had people that are like, maybe. I asked, does Anderson have more children than just the 3? I don't know why I tried to avoid saying their names as if I wasn't gonna spoil you, but I'm sure by now you've been spoiled. 53% of people said, yeah, he has more children. I feel like I would have expected people to say no, but it was a very even split. There's a possibility of this, but at the same time, it would just get old if every book it was like, new character, new character, new character, new brother, new brother. And I think it's something that could definitely be in his journals if we were to find out about it. My next question is something I've thought about a ton. I don't know, it's just an interesting piece of trivia. I asked, if Adam and Warner were to touch, a very strong if, would Adam disable Warner's power or would Warner absorb Adam's power? 67% of people thought that Warner would absorb Adam's power. Someone said whoever's stronger overpowers the other one, and they say Warner is stronger. Can I say I disagree? I feel like the power to turn something off trumps the ability to steal something. So I would say that Adam can disable Warner's power, but maybe I'm just an Adam stan. I doubt we'll see this play out, but that's just a little fun one to think about. It's a little oxymoron. This next question was inspired by Tahada saying that Juliet was either going to get a haircut or a tattoo in this book, and I said, which one's it gonna be, haircut or tattoo? 66% of people said she's gonna get a tattoo, which I'm grateful for. I agree with. I do not need any more haircuts in this series. I think a tattoo scene would be cute, or like her showing a tattoo to Warner or something. I don't know. I'm just romanticizing people getting needles jabbed into their bodies. My next question is something that I'm just personally curious about. I don't think we're gonna actually learn about it, but I'd like to gauge the waters, dip a toe in. I want to know how Warner attended school. Adam went to public school, but Adam didn't live with his dad. Warner knows a ton of languages. Warner's super smart. Like, did he go to school, or was he homeschooled? Public school, private school, other? 55% of people said he was homeschooled. 42% said private school. I agree with being homeschooled. I think he probably had several tutors that would come to him, but I'm trying to imagine Warner in public school and it just hurts, so I'm gonna move on. Next question is just a fun one. I said, will there be a dog in this book? 83% of people said there better be, and I agree. The next question I have is from the fact that Tata confirmed that a person other than Juliet is going to see Warner's scars. 48% of people said Kenji, which I see because of the fact that Kenji walks in on him naked. The moment I realized in that scene, like, oh my gosh, what if he sees Warner's scars? Like, I was shookened for life. But also the 21% of people that said more than one person, I agree with. 24% said Adam. So I feel like Kenji and Adam would be like the top two people. Maybe Castle. This question was something that was a lot more prominent last year, that I thought a lot more of last year, about Juliet having a villain arc. Is she gonna have one at any point in the series? 69% of people said maybe briefly, and I feel like that was the easiest answer to go with, just because it's like a hard yes or a hard no is a little bit skeevy. I can see Juliet having dark moments and losing control of herself and having to fight through wanting to cave to temptations and the dark side of herself, but I don't think she's gonna break into a full demonic, bad, evil mindset like I used to think she might have. Next is the question about what type of music does Warner listen to, because we're gonna get to learn and restore me, so I figured we might as well start bouncing around some ideas. This question was a little bit silly. The answer choices that I gave were either smooth jazz, Beyonce, some question marks, or emo stuff probably. 45% of people said emo stuff. I agree. I can't even begin to theorize. If it's Taylor Swift or something, I'm gonna have to take a break. I'm gonna have to put the book down and reevaluate my life. Next I asked, does Warner get his own super suit? Just because Kenji has one, Juliet has one. He probably doesn't need one, but I was just thinking about it. 52% of people said TBH, he could work it. So it's a little split if people think he would never or if he would do it, but I don't know. I feel like he would look cute with all his muscles. He's not a real person. I need help. Okay, going back to the question I posed a while ago, I said, do any important people, such as Omega Point people or people we know the names of that we care about, are they gonna die in this book? My belief is we're not gonna have stuff go down until book 5 or book 6. But 58% of people said there's definitely gonna be some sort of death or tragic event happening to these people, which I hate. I hope that we jinx this so it doesn't happen. This next question is also one that's like a hugely debated one, which is, why is Warner crying naked on the floor? What is wrong with my boy? 45% of people said it was something with Juliet, 37% said Anderson's journals, and 18% said other, which was not specified. This is another one of those that it was hard to even come up with answer choices. I really just wanted to have a discussion about why and what the reasons for it could be, but I ended up putting as the answer choices either he read something from Anderson's journals that was really triggering for him, or something happened with Juliet. I am leaning toward Anderson's journals, just because I feel like if he has a fight with Juliet or if something happens to Juliet, he would leap into action rather than being like, oh, I'm sad. Next is a question that we've been talking about for months, which is, do Warner and Juliet somehow get separated during this book? Does someone get kidnapped? Do they have a breakup? Whatever the deal may be. 87% of people said yes. If you would have asked me this before the more recent Q&As on Twitter, I would have agreed with that, but now I'm thinking, I don't know. I don't think they will. So I'm in the very small minority of people that say no. This next one was a fun one, but I'm also going to use it as a promo. Have you pre-ordered Restore Me yet? 63% of my followers are weenies because they didn't. So you're a weenie if you haven't pre-ordered it. This next question is something that I know might not be in the book, but I'm just like, please. If we were given a choice between two holidays, would you rather see Christmas or Warner's birthday? 78% of people said Warner's birthday, which I agree with, because I feel like Christmas would be cute and nice and light, but Warner's birthday would be so meaningful. Just the symbolicness of gift giving and love, I guess. I don't know. I don't want to get emo, but yeah, I'd also rather see his birthday. Next, I started delving into some Kenji backstory questions. One of them was, is Kenji an orphan? 77% of people said yes. Then I asked, does Kenji have any siblings? And the 3 answer choices this time were yes, they're alive, yes, but they're dead, or no. This was actually pretty split evenly. There was 40% that said yes, but they died. I don't know where I side on this. Part of me isn't convinced that Kenji's entire family is dead, but I can't even begin to speculate like what would have happened, so I don't know. Then I had a question again about Juliet's parents. This was sort of playful at first, but now I'm thinking about it more and more. I said, who's gonna kill Juliet's parents? Just the fact that all of Juliet's friends are so defensive of her, and the fact that her parents were so horrible to her, I was like, I wonder if she or anyone close to her will kill her parents, given they deserve it or something, I don't know. 44% of people chose the option that they wouldn't die. 33% said Juliet would kill them if it came to that. 17% Warner, 6% Kenji. I was spitballing there with that question. This next question is probably the #1 thing I disagree with. I said, is James gonna find out they're brothers? And 75% of people said yes. Maybe I'm totally wrong, and I know nothing about the world, but I'm really thinking it's not gonna be this book. I feel like it's so soon. It will only have been like 2 or 3 weeks after his dad died that they're being like, by the way, that was your dad. Or like if he finds out accidentally, it would just be so painful. You know what? I don't put that past Tahara, but I'm still not convinced it's gonna happen so soon. But 75% of people said yes, so we'll see. Okay, next I asked a question about the pressure wave, power wave, sound wave dude from Ignite Me. I said, is he gonna come back? Is he gonna be significant? Do you care about him? 67% of people said no. Who? Maybe I'm just paranoid. I'm thinking maybe our dude was important. If you don't know who the pressure wave dude is, go watch my last theories video. My next question was, will Kenji and Adam get into another fight? And 90% of people said yes, so. I'm thirsting for a scene where there's drama and tea, so I would love to read that. I would love to read Kenji walking into a room with like a bloody nose and Juliet's like, what happened? He's like, oh, I punched Kent. Next I said, will Adam and Juliet talk or make up or become friends again? Just because it's so awkward and Castle is saying you gotta make up. Surprisingly, 69% of people said they wouldn't make up in this book. I'm kind of leaning toward maybe they will, just because Juliet is like a cinnamon roll. I can't imagine her holding a grudge for so long. This next question is also very debated, and the results for this were 50-50 pretty much. I asked, does Adam deserve a redemption arc? People get heated about this in the fandom. There's some very adamant people who say no. 51% of people said yes. For a long time, this was at exact 50-50. I can see both sides. For me, it really depends on how. I also highly disagree with this next question. I said, will there be a cliffhanger? 95% of people said yeah. I'm gonna knock on wood on that one, but I really hope there's not. And I really trust Tahara to not do me that dirty, but I'm just praying. I'm praying that's a no. Another little fun one that's not really a prediction that I asked is, which chapter would we most want from Warner's point of view from the previous trilogy? 42% of people said chapter 55, chapter 56, 29% said chapter 62, and 23% said pager scene. There's other scenes people wanted as well, but it seems the verdict is chapter 55. Personally, I want the pager scene, which is why I put that there. You know, maybe one day we'll get bonus content. And then I said, is there going to be an engagement or a wedding at any point in the series? And 76% of people said there will hopefully be, which I think is kind of an easy answer. It's hard because I feel like for the scope of a YA series, it'd be easy for there to not be any discussion of like engagements or weddings, but I really want there to be a wedding or an engagement. People always request that I write a Warnet engagement fanfiction or their wedding, and I can't, because I can't even begin to envision what that would look like, so that's why I'm kind of hoping that Tahara will do it for us. This next question is also one that I really was having a hard time putting into answer choices because it's such speculative nature that I don't know. I asked, what is the tragedy that strikes that's mentioned in the synopsis of the book? And the answer choices I did were a bomb, warfare, or something. Or the option of Juliet being kidnapped, which has now sort of translated into Juliet being mind controlled by another Supreme Commander with mind control. Or something happens to Juliet. 53% said Juliet is kidnapped. I really don't know. This next one was also just sort of a fun one, which is, which Warnet scenes are better, soft cuddles or steamy passion? Because there's the difference between people who love chapters like pager scene versus chapter 55. I mean, I like them both, so no discussion needed, but 57% said soft cuddles, and I agree. She said, I'm obsessed with soft cuddles, and I agree. I like my Warnet scenes soft and cuddly. The next one's also sort of a fun one. I don't know if it'll actually happen, but is Julia ever going to re-enter the simulation chamber that she was so traumatized in book 1? I feel like it'd be a good like roundabout back to showing her growth, that she like willingly goes into there. She's like, yeah, let's train, let's do it. So I said yes by herself, yes with Warner, or no, and 46% said yeah, she'll go in by herself, which I love. I agree. The final question I have, I'm sorry this video was so long, it's something I really thought of randomly and now I can't stop thinking about it, is did Anderson have a hidden power? I'm really torn about this. He could have, and he could have written about it in his journals. But at the same time, Warner has the power to be able to sense other people's energies. So if Anderson had a power, Warner would know about it because of the energy of it. So I made the answer choices. Yes, Anderson had a power and Warner knew about it. Yes, but Warner didn't know about it, or just straight up no. 60% of people said that Anderson will have a power that no one knew about. I'm either leaning toward no or yeah, but Warner knew. It seems kind of like one of those J.K. Rowling details that they throw in there at the very end when it doesn't matter. Like, oh, Dumbledore was gay. Oh, Anderson had a power. Like, great. It doesn't matter anymore. He's dead. Unless it comes back to play a huge role, I'm not sure it's gonna be that important. It's still interesting to think about. My lipstick is so crusty, I can feel it rubbing together every time I talk. So if you participated on the polls, thank you for your votes. If you enjoyed this video, thank you for watching. Let me know what your answer choices would have been, if you agree, if you disagree, if you have any theories on any stuff that I couldn't know. I have to go run to work now. Thank you all so much for watching. Hope you have a wonderful life. Bye!